give Barbara Sadler some credit.
Patty Hill, why did you write this book, Black Ain't Blue?
Well, Mark, first of all, I'm glad to be with you again, and I'm glad you came to Miss Sis' place to visit us. And now we have your book. I'm sure we're going to get more patrons because I'm going to advertise that Mark Sims' renowned book, Willie Lynch, is here. What inspired me to write this book? There were many things. As you know, or may not know, I am now retired from the Chicago Police Department after almost 21 years. And during that time, I observed, witnessed, experienced a slew of events and occurrences that impacted our community directly, and many of them were negative. And so one of the most outstanding and recurring observations I made was that our community, our people, have a belief, which I think is mythical, but I can understand how we have that. We have a belief or a lack of understanding of how the police system actually works, and so we continuously fall into certain traps. And so I thought about how could we convey to the community in a very pervasive way how the system actually works and how traps have been laid for us and how we continue to fall into those traps, and then how we can empower ourselves. And so I sat down and thought about it, and it came to me that probably I need to discipline myself to the point of putting it in book form. And so that's what I did.
Well, black ain't blue, you know, that has a meaning. So, I can figure out what it means, but please tell the people. Well, black ain't blue. Black ain't blue
actually has double meaning. We have a meaning for the community, and we have a meaning for black police officers. The meaning that we hope black police officers get from it, and this is my intended purpose, is that no matter how hard you try, what rank you may attain, how well like you perceive yourself to be, the fact of the matter is you are never going to be blue. Blue meaning accepted by the status quo in terms of your local police department. As far as the black community is concerned, and black people in general, it means that although we are being beat down, literally, by the police, we're not emotionally blue, and we continue to strive to make it every day, and that at some point we will overcome. And that's the spirit of our people historically in this country.
When you were on the police force for over 20 years, you saw many changes. And when we talk, we've done so many shows together, we always talk about the level of activism on the police force. This is 2007, November 2007. We are a long way from the civil rights movement. And although things have gotten a lot better, in some respects they haven't really changed much. So how do you kindle or rekindle the level of activism on the police force here in Chicago and across the nation?
Well, the level of activism in police departments around the country, it ran concurrently with the level of activism in the black community. Police officers emanate from the community. They don't just pop up one day and they're on the police department. So that's another feature, another factor that our people need to understand, that police officers in a police department does not operate as a separate entity exclusive to the police departments. And so I know, and we all should understand, that the activism level on police departments is not going to elevate until the activism level in our community elevates once again. So if you want to see more active police officers, more conscious police officers, more police officers who are out here taking civic risk on behalf of their community, then you have to produce those kind of people within the community who will ultimately understand their functions, and they will join the police departments. That's what I did. That's what the founders of this organization did. We didn't become activists after we became police officers. We were activists coming onto the department.
Now, the younger police officers, you know, let's face it, you're a young man, young lady, and there's a lot of young women coming on the police departments here in Chicago and across the nation. what are their level of activism? What is their duty to not just themselves, but really to the community? Do the younger generation, these 20-year-olds, these 30-year-olds coming onto the police department, do they have that sense of mission to for the community, not just to lock us up and throw us in jail, but really try to make a positive impact on the neighborhoods that they serve?
For the most part, no, because our community is not at that point. Most of these young people see their role as a police officer as having a job, and to the discredit and unfortunate status of our community, black officers act or perform in their function in that way. Many of them act as though they don't, when they take off that uniform, they don't go back to a black community until something happens to them. And what they're now witnessing is that in more times than they ever could expect, that when they're not in uniform, and sometimes when they are in uniform, that they are regarded by police officers in uniform as just another you-know-what in the community. And it has happened time and time again. Such an instance would be when there's a situation, an off-duty black police officer is confronted in some way with the on-duty white officer. They identify themselves as an officer, and the white officer doesn't hesitate to tell you that they're the only police officer at that time. And they negate the fact, I don't care what kind of credentials you present to them, they negate the fact that you, or even accept the fact or identify with the fact that you are a police officer. So it would be in the best interest, it would be intelligent for these officers, these black officers, to understand that. And then when they're on the job, if they fully internalize that, when they're working and establish themselves throughout the day while they're in their uniform, they're going to be treated differently. They're going to be respected. And when they don't have that uniform on. See, a lot of them use that as this form of protection. But once they take it off, you know, you on your own. You out here like everybody else fending for yourselves.